Hey everybody, GeForce41 here with another PGA Tour 2K23 golf course design quick tip tutorial video. Where are we today? We are at Killington Island Club by YouTube viewer CodeNameNateDog. And that's Nady Peterson in the game, but I'll put a graphic up there. It should be up there already. And Nate wrote to me a while back. I'm a little behind on the quick tip videos, but let's get rolling on this. There are a lot of T's on the options here. I'm playing on the golds, which is 7,700 yards. There's an 8,000 yard option. Well, look at the bridge. Wow. So first thoughts are pretty view off the first tee, but a little drastic. This course, by the way, has about 1,600 plays already, so good job, Nate. So it's got to have something going on for it, right? I think this could be a spectacular view off the first tee, a little narrow. So we've talked on a bunch of quick tip videos before about not making the first hole too hard, too challenging. You think about this in real life. This would be panic time, right? Now it's a video game, I understand. A little tight. And we had another course, I forget the name of it, we did on quick tips. A little too much, too many bunkers. The fairway's not wide enough. If you've got all this water on either side, I'd lose that bunker up there. But let's take a opening shot here and talk a little bit more about it. I've got the wind in my face at 9, and look at that. I cut it a little, and I'm already panicked it's going in the water. So you don't want anybody rage quitting on you on the first hole. All right, so let's look at the sculpting. A lot of newer designers do this. Think about how high up that is. Could that be? Yeah, and we'll look over here. It could be that way, but it looks very bare. It looks very unfinished to me. So this looks a little rough drafty to me. And I'm talking about this edging here. I'm not looking at the actual course itself. The side walls going into the water. If you had a hole like this, it would tend not to be that high up. If it is, it might be kind of a gradual slope with rocks and a hill and everything like that. And just from being a designer, I know what the temptation is. It's to take the brush and cut it and shrink. But why so high up? It would be very, if you look at this, it would be very low-level land to me. So it wouldn't be very much higher than the water. So I just think it looks a little unnatural. And I think a lot of newer designers struggle with that. They want water in play, but they don't quite work on that sculpting to make it look real. I mean, the land could be that high up, of course. It's not, within reason, but it would look a little different. It wouldn't be so cut off, unless there was a rock wall or something man-made holding it up. But you'd probably be a little bit more gradual. Splining might need a little work. Lighting looks mid-level. I'm going to do a lighting video soon. Looks pretty bright. Clear skies. Obviously a tropical destination. I don't know if you used the tropical theme. My guess is you did. Again, same thing on the second hole, right? So be careful with this because we're getting a little repetitive. Is the whole course going to go like this? Not really sure. So we'll play a few holes, see what happens. Just look at the look-off tee. It looks a little odd to me. You could flatten that and have it a little more gradual, and it'd be really pretty. It would take some time. You could put some planting around it, etc. Okay? Right, so now you got some trees in play. They're a little close, but you don't have too much room here. So again, we've talked a lot about making the course fun to play, making it interesting, not making it overly hard. And I know people shoot low scores, but that's a natural instinct, right? Pretty lighthouse. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a coughing fit here. Pretty lighthouse in the distance. So this could be very scenic. So, my first impressions of this is not bad, but to me it looks a little bit kind of like a first pass. You want to lay the course down, get the holes down, and get some basics, the bones of the course. But then you really got to fine-tune it. So I don't see a whole lot of fine-tuning going on here. The path is a little shaky and wobbly. right? You want to straighten the path, flatten the path. Again, everything. My videos are saying making X look natural for a reason. Um, that could be a very dramatic cliff right there in front of you, a nice waterfall in the distance. I like this idea of a hole. I'm not sure I like the execution. Got a huge bunker there. Again, why stop it? Let it. You've got plenty of room. Let somebody hit driver and decide. Maybe have it go out this way. Do you want to cut it, take a short one, and get the angle and a shorter shot, or do you want to just blast it down there? So not sure why you stop it at all. So you're taking, drivers kind of out of the equation with the wind at your back. And it's a little bit of an odd angle. I'd angle the green this way, right? So where's your ideal shot coming from? Maybe here. So you could leave fairway way out in the distance and go to the player just blasting driver. The player doesn't think through these things, and reward the player here. Okay. Let me show you what I mean. Always think, not only risk reward, but angles, okay? Have the green, and I'll put up a graphic. Instead of going this way, going kind of to 8 o'clock, maybe going more to 7 o'clock, okay? Coming in from this spot right here would be ideal. It's not bad. But again, it adds just a little bit of strategy to the hole. Or I'm not sure what the strategy is here. It's just, again, don't hit it there. Greens look reasonable. Okay, so more of the same. So we're doing the same thing over and over. You got to be real careful with this because this is going to get tedious fast. This is the same idea going the other way, but executed a little bit better. Now I've got plenty of room to blast it. Okay. And we'll see what the angle of the green looks like. Again, it's kind of straight on, right? So where do you want it? Maybe you want to be down here. But why isn't there green over here? You could use some green over here, maybe. Might have a little bit bigger green. Again, these are just ideas. There's nothing bad about this. It's just nothing at this point is now making me say, wow. So it's an interesting take on things. Maybe you had something in mind. Get in there. You got to be careful with these tropical courses. They're hard to pull off. So let's just take a look at the scene from the tee here. You're always painting a picture, especially from the tee. The master of this is, of course, the one and only Arctic Fury. Chris Z is good at this. I don't even know how he says his handle. Chris Z, like Krista Fragiliana, Spain. Very, very pretty scenes off the tee. We've had a few other ones recently. They're escaping my memory, but it's just a little off. It's greens maybe a tad small for such a large shot and such a forced carry. But off to the side there, definitely can work on the sculpting on the cliffs. It just looks lumpy and computery. Looks a little bit kind of like the old versions of the game when people hadn't really gotten into the designing yet. So it just doesn't look quite natural. But you're getting there. So I like the concept. It's just it's hard to pull off. It takes a lot of work. And I know you said in your note you spent about 300 hours on this. So, my advice to you would be think about how you're designing what took 300 hours because it looks a little unfinished. And I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm just saying that's a lot of work. And it doesn't have that kind of fine-tuned touch to it, that polished look. So I'm not sure what, you spend a lot of time maybe getting these holes shaped in with the water line and everything like that. But again, that's going to take a lot of time. If you did this correctly, it would take a lot of time to do kind of the planting and the rocks around it as well. All right, we are going way up a hill here. This is kind of bizarre. So everything's been pretty flat. Now we've got a drastic uphill change. Is that a bad thing? No, it's kind of good, but it's a little drastic. I've suggested to new designers, do not go too severe on your elevation changes until you're really good at this. 30, 40 feet at most. This is 88 feet up to the greens, 125 feet. A little much. The sculpting in front of me isn't done and flattened. That's just basic flattening that cart path all the way up. Just use the flatten brush. So you can make this look much better. Again, not much room. I don't know what's going to happen here. 88 up. Good God. Nice waterfall and stuff there. So I'd think through your strategy and your basic sculpting more than, getting all these rocks and everything in there. That now I'm seeing where a lot of your time was spent. Was spent putting those rocks in. Very time consuming. Okay, so this is okay. Let's say this green looks reasonable. It's going to the water to the right. That makes sense. That is, to me, making your green look pretty natural. Again, just a little too severe. We had basically flat holes and then a giant hill. So, think about working your way up and down gradually. 2 holes of 25 to 30 feet up in the air at a time will get you there, right? You got to think about your routing ahead of time. Right? One of the hardest things for real architects to do is, are you kidding? Usually I have trouble punning when I'm talking. I'll take that one. A lot of times architects have trouble routing the course. That's the most important thing they've got to think about before they do anything, is how you're going to get from 1 to 18 in the best way possible. Same thing here, using the terrain. Now, you've got a blank slate to start with, right? So you can do whatever you want. So really think about that. These are all conscious decisions. A lot of great designers start with a plot first. They put the plot down and then they put the course down. I think a lot of people just start making a course and they're not thinking about it. I do a little of both. I haven't done a course that way in a long time. Just put a plot down and find 18 holes. To me, that's the funnest way to do it. But it's a little bit more challenging. You don't know what's going to happen. There you go. But you got to have a theme and idea before you start, okay? I tend to do a lot of inspired by courses, they're called. Kind of do a course that's inspired by another course. Grashmore was inspired by the Renaissance Club. Taconic State Park Blue is inspired by Fox Ridge in Maine, which is a hidden gem. Nobody knows that course. It's a hidden gem. Okay, so, think of these things before you go. Because now we're going 94 feet. So we started way low, and now we're way high, and we're way up on a cliff. Pretty. I like this. But you can do a lot of different things here. So I think the intricacy of the plot you came up with, combined with these rocks, is what took you 300 hours. So a little too much. You might want to simplify it. And like I said, go gradual. Because you can have 2 or 3 holes side by side. That would be spectacular. Maybe you wanted this gorgeous view going down here, but you can still have another hole and still have the gorgeous view. Okay, so each hole is almost like its own island. And that's going to take you a long time to pull off. Just think through your concept, okay? All right, let's take a look at 9. So you've got those plantings. See the BTs? You've got the little plants behind the trees. Yeah, that looks a little odd. I tried to do that myself, but a little hard on a tropical to come up with the right mix. Again, we're way up. All right, 30 feet uphill. The hill isn't bad. 2-tier green, not bad. Now we got some crowds out of nowhere. Okay, we like crowds on the casuals, but where are they? It doesn't make sense for this course because there's nowhere to put them. So now you have somewhere to put them, so now you have crowds. Okay, this is 10. It's a par 5, 618 yards downhill. What is it from the back tees? My God. That's a little odd with the stands right there. The stands for another green. You'd probably never see that because they're kind of in the player's view or line, but it's a video game, so it doesn't really matter. The tree's a little intrusive. Interesting bunker off to the right. I'm not sure where that concept came from. So you've got much bigger fairway here. So I like this a lot more. Yeah, I like this hole a lot more than I've been seeing on the front. Okay. The waste bunkers are kind of hard to do. I don't want to get into it here. I think we've talked about those before. There's some folks who do those really well. Most do not. Alright, that was a good hole. Okay, 11, we're back to kind of flat. Now we're on the other side of this crazy bunker scheme. Where's the hole? Over here. Okay, so can we drive it? We could if there's not trees in the way. Alright, so you got trees in the way. This wouldn't be a bad idea for short 4. You could have made this a drivable 4. I'm sorry, it is a short 4. It's not a bad idea for a drivable 4 because you could have made that all water. If you got water all over the place, then I would have gotten rid of those trees and had the water come up to that hole. But bit of a missed opportunity there. Throw it out here. See what happens. So again, a hole like this, you could play with the angles a little bit. Make it a little more interesting. On the 12, I like the BT there. See, that's a little bit more reasonable. I think it looks a little flatter and a little bit more low-lying here. Again, off to the side, you really should sculpt that and flatten it. The hole's down there. Alright, this one could be fairly interesting. The one thing you have to worry about on these tropical courses is the tree line. There are a number of different palm trees, but it's hard to get them right and really differentiate them and get that kind of nice tree line look. So I like this hole. This reminds me of a lot of holes I play around here. I think there's an advantage to getting way out there. And then there's just a little apron right there. And that tree in the middle is a nice aiming point for the edge of the green. So this one's okay as well. 14's a par 5 across water. Alright, so let's take a look at this one. Again, there's not much strategy off this tee here. Actually, unless I missed it, off to the right. Could you have gone off to the right? Not sure if there's another option off to the right there. Which meant it would have been a little more interesting. I'm going to take a quick look. Indeed, there was. So that's my bad. There's a second option over here. Huh. Alright, so that definitely makes it a little bit more interesting. So you got a dual fairway option there. With an angle. So that's what I'm talking about. So I kind of like that. Again, you're just not giving too much in terms of room off the tee. Okay? So I think everything's a little tight, especially given the water all over the place. But I can see how you've gotten someplace. People think this is kind of fun and interesting. 15, a mid-length par 3. That's okay. Size of the green's okay. You're going to have some shots that are simple. Some not, depending on the wind. Hold up for me. Very nice. Again, 16, I'm probably not going to keep the whole hole in the video here, but you can see how this is a little repetitive, right? It's just a hole that goes out, and the fairway is just a little surrounded by rough and some trees. So it just gets a little repetitive. Like a hole like this, if you had one or two of these, maybe. Just way too many of them. And on to the 18. Let's see how this one finishes. All right, par 5, going back to the clubhouse. Forced carry over the water, and you got a big gaping bunker right in the middle. Again, pretty, like I said, you went to the well a little too often with these. But I like the rocks here. If you would smooth this a little and put some rocks around it, these holes, fine. But you can't do too many of those. It takes too long and it takes too much meter. But still, the same principle. So if you started this way, it would be kind of cool to finish that way as well. But there were just a few too many of them, I think, in the round as well. So it's a little bit of an odd course. I mean, that bridge is crazy. And again, there's not enough room, and why have the bunker here? So a little too much. Is it crazy hard? No, of course not. But I don't think there's a need for it. Okay, and then 250 up the hill. Right? Because the thing about par 5s is you want that second shot into the green. You want people to have that unless they really goof. Because it's fun. So you want them to try that second shot. You know, if you really want a 3-shot hole, that's fine. You should have maybe one of those in your course as well. So that was the green we saw when we were teeing off a 10, obviously. So I kind of like this hole as a finishing hole. Kind of interesting. And I like the concept when finishing it. So I think my commentary's been basically, you know, focus on that sculpting, try to make life easy on you. Think of that plot and that routing beforehand, and really give it a clean, finished, polished look. Don't overdo it on the complexity of rocks and things like that, and too many, you know, kind of cute sculpting features and island-like fairways and things like that. But all in, great effort, great idea. You wanted to make it fun and interesting for people. I think you did. But definitely room for stuff to work on. But that's why we're here. Hopefully, you know, these tips are helpful. They're getting longer and longer. It was kind of, quick tips is always meant to be 3 holes, but we got most of the holes in here. So that was Killington Island Club by CodeNameNateDog on YouTube, and I think it's Nate Peterson on the game. So that's all. We'll be back with more quick tips, more course reviews, and course design videos real soon. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Bye for now.